Am I wrong for considering leaving my husband after he stole from me? The author of the post is listed in the description. When I was 5, my Nana gave me her tea set. It was given to her by her mother. My Nana had no daughters of her own, and I was the only girl of her 11 grandchildren, so she gave it to me. It's a full-bone china set. I don't know if it has monetary value, but its sentimental value is immeasurable. I have had it, kept it, used it for nearly 28 years. I wanted to pass it down to my own daughter or granddaughter one day. My husband knows all this. His sister and her family came to stay with us for a week. Whenever I have little girls over, I pull out my tea set for a tea party. I make tea sandwiches, scones, cakes, biscuits. My Nana made tea parties a big deal with me, and I carry that on. So me, my sister-in-law, and her daughter had an afternoon tea party. It was a couple of weeks after that I had my friend and her daughters coming to visit. I planned a tea party. Morning of I baked, made sandwiches, went to pull my tea set out, and it was gone. I keep it in a cabinet in my kitchen. I wash it and put it away every time until the next time. I went a little mad looking for it. The visit came and went. I spent days tearing my house apart looking for it. Every cabinet, drawer, cupboard, the whole house was turned inside out. My husband even helped me. He was insistent that it couldn't have grown feet and walked away on its own. That's what gets to me. He knew damn well where it was, but he pretended that I had misplaced it. He knew how upset I was and tried to comfort me with promises to buy me a new set, as though a new set could replace my Nana's. A few weeks later, he came home with a cheap, thin-looking set that he bought at Walmart or something. I threw it in the bin. Call me ungrateful if you want. I don't care. I was ungrateful. Something you treasure, something of great sentimental value given to you by your long-dead Nana cannot be replaced no matter how much, or little in this case, the replacement cost. Then I heard my husband on the phone. I heard him say that when we visit to put it away and tell Melly not to mention it because I'm still upset about it. He didn't say the words tea set, but I knew that's what he was talking about. I walked in while he was still on the phone and called him a thief. He was like a deer in headlights. He quickly hung up and tried to explain. I wouldn't hear it. I told him to get it back. His sister called me and I called her a thief. I told her to return it in the same condition she took it or I would be calling the police, then I hung up on her. My husband tried reasoning with me. He told me his niece loved it so much and that kind of thing really is for little girls. He said he was going to talk to me about leaving it to her anyway, so where is the harm that she has it now? He said I was too old to be playing around with kids' toys and I really should grow up. He said I was immature and it means nothing. What he meant is that it means nothing to him, so I should forget it. The next day, I not only went to the police to report the theft, I also called my brother who lives in the same city as my husband's sister. My brother went around and got my tea set. My husband was livid and spent a couple of days calling me a lot of derogatory names. His tune changed when he came home to find me packing my stuff. He stole from me, pretended he didn't know anything about it, insulted me, tried to gaslight me. Now he's saying how sorry he is and that we can work this out. I don't think we can. I look at him and see someone who steals from me, lies to me, makes me feel small, someone untrustworthy who doesn't care about me. 2 of my brothers will be here tomorrow to help me move. I'm taking everything that means anything to me because I don't think I'll see any of it again if I leave it all with him. We can fight it out in court about the rest. I've been told that I'm an asshole to leave him over a tea set, but it's not just a tea set. It's my Nana's history. It's my history. It's years of happy memories with her, with my mother and other female relatives, friends. He stole all that from me when he gave it away. Aita for calling it quits? Comments. Commenter. NTA. Glad you got it back and that you know it's time to go. Good luck. Commenter. You're right. Good thing she knew it was time to go. OP. He lied about this. What else has he lied about? Definitely take everything that means even a small amount to you and let the courts decide what you can keep. Also, do not drop the charges. Let his family learn that stealing has consequences. I'd be petty and get the tin set from Walmart out of the trash and send it to his sister with a return address with his name. Commenter. Not only did he lie about it, he pretended to actively look for it while knowing full well how upset OP was over the tea set missing, and then even told his sister to hide it from view when they come over. He was wrong every step of the way. That is a different level of diabolical. He knew what he did was wrong. He lied and tried to cover his actions. He does not get to decide what OP does with her things. This was a sentimental, much-loved and used, regularly treasured family heirloom. He has zero rights to it, and some gall trying to tell OP how she should feel about it and that she is too old for it. Not for him to decide. Update, 4 days later. Update, just a tiny one because it's only been 4 days, but my inbox is collapsing under all the message requests for an update. I am moved out. 2 of my brothers and 2 of my cousins helped me to move. I took videos, pre, during, and post my leaving. There was some unpleasantness prior to them arriving, but their arrival saw its end. They came with a moving truck, a whole truck. All I had packed was some luggage with my clothes and a few boxes of other stuff, but they filled that truck, and I have the soon-to-be ex on video helping them, laughing with them. But when I gave him my house keys, he was not looking at me with any love or regret. The plan was to move back in with my parents. All my brothers, my 2 cousins that helped me move, and another cousin had a meeting of the minds on FaceTime the night before coming to help me. My brother who retrieved my tea set opened his big mouth about the tea set situation, and they've become suspicions of just about everything. Due to those suspicions, they decided my plan was rubbish and came up with one of their own. I was moved into the 3rd cousin's home. He has top-notch security. Cameras, sensors, monitoring, you name it, he probably has it. My brothers have not let up about their suspicions. Suspicions are all they have, and I'm going to see it stays that way. I am not going to tell them anything. I love my brothers and I love my cousins. I do not want to spend the rest of my life visiting them in jail. I've taken some of the advice people offered. I'd est the videos. Making a missing items list, I'll be looking for photo evidence of these items. I have already spoken to my uncle's wife, the divorce lawyer. I was going to go with someone else because she's family, but she's bound by lawyer-client privilege. I have not blocked him, so all the voicemail and SMS and FB messenger messages he's sending are getting through and being saved. I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out, but that will have to do for now. I am moved out. I am safe. Thank you, everyone. I'll let you know when I have more to tell. Comments. Commenter. I'm glad you leave. And hopefully in your divorce you can get your stuff back or the money from the things your husband stole from you. Honestly, your ex-husband sueds like a jerk. Commenter. Well done for being so organized and getting out of there. I am so pleased you have strong family support. Keep your chin up and best wishes for a happier future. Commenter. Went and read first post. Yay, fuck this prick. Use that police report in court. Take every fucking you own and then own everything he does through court. Fuck that shit. Okay, next story. Aita. For kicking out my sister out of my house for not complying to my house rules, I, 26F, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and I was living alone for the most part until last month, when my younger sister, 23F, started living with me after my parents kicked her out due to her not contributing to the house. She had nowhere else to go, and she pretty much begged me to let her stay with me. I said that if she wants to live with me, she needs to follow my house rules. She is in her last year of university, so I said that she didn't need to contribute financially but had to contribute to household chores, something that she didn't do when living with my parents. I am a clean person and I like my house to be neat and tidy. At first, she complied. She kept the kitchen clean, did her assigned chores, and would always clean up after herself. Then recently, around 2 weeks ago, she started slacking. She wouldn't do the dishes on her day, trashed the guest bathroom, messed up the living room by leaving her clothes everywhere, and would not put things away. For example, she made a sandwich and she didn't put away the bread, the vegetables, or the condiments. It was infuriating. I work 5 days a week and I'm exhausted. So I spoke to my sister and told her she needs to help me out by keeping my home clean. She just went, okay. My sister did start cleaning, but it was only after I start nagging and being annoying. I then sat her down and warned her that I will be kicking her out if she starts slacking and turning my apartment into a pigsty. I said this is my house and she needs to follow my rules if she wants to continue living with me. Fast forward to 2 days ago, I invited my friends over and I told my sister to clean the guest bathroom and the kitchen and just tidy up the living room because my friends were coming over and I was at work. So I wanted the house to be clean when I got home and I would just prepare snacks. Well, my sister didn't do any of that. When I came home, the house looked extremely messy, and it was not like that before I left. Dishes in the sink, food in the countertop, blankets in the living room, even the guest bathroom was messy. I lost it. I screamed at my sister and told her to pack her shit and get the fuck out of my home. She cried and begged me to give her another chance, and I said no. She had one fucking task and she didn't do one thing. We argued some more until she tearfully agreed to leave. She packed her bags and left. I quickly cleaned my house and had my friends over like normal. My parents are on my side, but my relatives are giving me grief for kicking my sister out, and they called me evil and a control freak asshole. My sister is staying with my aunt as my parents refuse to let her stay with them. Am I the asshole? Edit. Another issue is my sister would hog the washer and dryer. I do laundry once a week or sometimes twice a week. She would be so lazy to do her laundry that she would wait until her laundry basket is extremely full and she would take forever to finish. This would cause me to sometimes miss my day to do laundry, as she would take an entire fucking week to do her laundry, and I did speak to her about this and told her to stop. Of course she didn't listen, so I locked the laundry closet by purchasing a lock with some sort of rope to prevent her from opening, and it worked. She had no choice but to go elsewhere to do laundry. I've also been super pushy with her regarding the kitchen, mainly because my kitchen is open space and it's the first thing that I see when I come home. So seeing the kitchen messy is quite an eyesore for me and makes me anxious. Edit 2. As for the dishes, I told my sister I didn't care how she did them, either hand washing or using a dishwasher. I don't care. I want them clean and out of sight. So I did give her some options on how she did the dishes. Update 1. My mom called me about 20 minutes ago telling me that she wants us all to meet sometime this week to have a talk with my sister about her not following house rules, and perhaps see why she acts so defiant when it comes to following them. My aunt also called me explaining that she can't have my sister stay with her for long because there's just no room. My aunt has 3 kids, and there isn't room for my sister, so she will also be coming over this week so we can all have a chat and figure out a solution together as a family. I have no intentions on letting my sister stay with me again, and neither does my parents. My aunt is letting her stay with her in the meantime. Top comment? Absolutely NTA, and I'll give it a couple of weeks till sis gets kicked out by your aunt. She can then tour around all the other relatives giving you grief until she pisses them off with her manky habits. Another comment. Please update when your aunt calls you or your parents, completely Pikachu-faced about how her niece has trashed her home, and what should she say to make niece clean her own messes. NTA. Reply from UUP. Will do. Update. Hello, everyone. I thought I might make an update regarding the post I made about kicking my sister out of my house. First, I like to thank everyone who commented and assured me that I was not doing anything wrong by kicking my sister out. Here's the update. The first thing I did, despite everyone's warnings, I went over to my parents' house to talk with my aunt and my sister to come up with a solution, as my aunt did say my sister couldn't stay long-term as there isn't any room. We talked, and surprisingly, my sister followed my aunt's house rules. She cleaned up after herself, and she even bought groceries when my aunt said she didn't need to do that. My sister apologized to me for giving me a hard time and not keeping my apartment clean when I'm gone at work. She admitted she was just too lazy and didn't think I'd be that angry to the point where I'd kick her out. I accepted her apology, and that's when my aunt asked my parents if they'd be comfortable letting her move back in with them, as my sister is no longer welcome to stay with me. My parents said they did some thinking and they are willing to let her stay under one condition. She needs to contribute, and not just with household chores. She needs to start paying rent, and after she gets a job, she needs to start looking for places of her own. My sister has a part-time job at the university, so she agreed to my parents' conditions. That was a couple weeks ago. Now I was over at my parents' house an hour ago for lunch, and my sister had improved. She doesn't leave her clothes in the living room and cleans up after herself. I asked my parents about that, and they said another part of the condition is if she made a mess or didn't clean up after herself, she will have to pay a fine, which is $5. Since my sister wasn't willing to spend so much money knowing she would be charged with fines if she didn't help keep the house clean, that was when she started being a bit more responsible. I guess the only way to get her to clean is if you charge her with a fine, LOL. That's the update. I'm just relieved that there was no drama or problems. Now, one thing I do need to mention is that my sister wasn't really happy at first about having to pay rent or financially contribute, but she agreed nonetheless, and that's what matters. Okay, next story. Fiancé had months-long affair. So, as title says, I, 37M, found out yesterday and have confirmation today. In October of 2022 until March of 2023, my fiancé, 40F, was sleeping with a neighbor. We were engaged in 2021 and starting dating in 2014. The neighbor was married, and my fiancé developed a friendship with his wife when they moved onto our street in 2020. Over the course of that friendship, apparently he became quite into her, and she quite into him. I had been over to their house with my fiancé for social gatherings on a few occasions over those 2 years, and each time I got absolutely awful vibes from them. They were both sloppy drunks, and both were just in general mean people. My fiancée had several fights with her friend that I now realize are because of the affair that was developing. After many of these fights, I shared my concern that these were not good people to befriend. She agreed and seemed to distance herself from them, but my fiancé had summers off while summer was my busiest time at work. That summer, she spent a lot of time there while I was renovating our basement after work. Some nights, she stayed over drinking very late. Around this time, she started to treat me differently also. She stopped responding to me sexually, would flinch when I touched her. She started being protective of her phone, even though it was not something I ever had interest in. One day, she was showing me a picture on her phone. I wanted to see it better, to zoom in at where I wanted to see more detail, and so I reached out to grab the phone and she pulled back. I asked to see it so I could look, and she pushed it back into my face but wouldn't let me touch it. I was very confused and asked, "What is this about?" She'd never had such a reaction. I've never not handed her my phone the second she asked for it. This is the moment I believe I should have recognized it. I certainly suspected now, but had no evidence. I also trusted her and truly believed she would never do that. I made it very clear in the early stages of our relationship that infidelity was a deal breaker. Since then, it hasn't gotten better. And around December of last year, I expressed my frustration about the lack of intimacy, how I felt alone in our relationship, and that if a marriage was something she still wanted with me, we both would have to put in a better effort. She agreed that she would make more of an effort, and we've had sex once since then. It was clearly a chore for her. I've been ready to have a follow-up convo, and then I find it yesterday. On our shared iPad, there's an online game called Catan we both enjoy. I hadn't played in a long time. It was something we used to do together long ago. I wanted to play because I was alone while she was at work. I open up the iPad and it opens to a notepad file. She had been working through her feelings about the affair, I guess, and put a lot of detail. I knew it was wrong to look at her private stuff, and so I read only a few lines. There was something in it about having an affair, but she had told me that there was an affair that occurred between the neighbor, so I tried to tell myself she was writing about that. I was sick to my stomach that day. When she got home, I acted normal and slept in the bed we share. Not well, mind you. This morning, I had zero intention of bringing it up with her, but when she was saying goodbye to me, she could tell I was more off than usual, and she asked me what was my problem. I slipped up at this moment, and in a desperate move, I asked her if she was cheating on me. She lied, asked if I was serious. How could I drop that on her right before she goes to work? That yeah, she has issues, but cheating ain't one. I told her to just stop, and she left. I could not read the iPad today. I read what I could stomach when I was sure she didn't turn around and, oh wow. It's really bad. I want to post what she wrote so much, but it's not the right thing to do. And as bad as I'm hurting right now, I don't wish to hurt people. Her included, so for now that's staying with me, but the details are just brutal. I couldn't stomach reading it all. When she got home from work today, I asked her if she would talk. And I asked her again. She denied it again. I said, okay, what is the deal with what I found on the iPad? She came clean at this point, but tried to blame it on the neighbor. I told her our engagement is over and that I want to see other people and sell our house. She wanted to talk it out. She wants to stay together. I cannot trust her. I don't know how I could ever trust her, and I just don't want to see her anymore. I have told only my brother and one of my friends at this point, and I'm going to tell the rest of my family this weekend, hopefully, but I needed to get this off my chest and hear some thoughts on this situation before that. I feel like I've already grieved the loss because who she's been the past 2 years isn't who I fell in love with, but tomorrow this new reality starts. It's not a nightmare I can just wake up from, and I can't turn to her and smile and say, phew, just a dream. I miss my fucking best friend, okay? I want it to be a nightmare, but I know it isn't. Any advice, thoughts, or questions? I'll be here all night, AMA. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.